I just want you to speak to us. I mean, why boarding pass? Why did you choose to go boarding pass podcast?
Okay, so let me first explain something. I want to explain what a platform is, right? If you search the dictionary, you will find that a platform is only defined as a raised space on which something can be placed to be seen, right? That's the closest we get. But I learned that a platform is a space that's created for the freedom to express oneself. That is what a platform means to me. So why boarding pass? So boarding passes comes from what a boarding pass is. Like when you're traveling and they give you the boarding pass, which is the last document you have when you're getting onto the plane, right? So we chose boarding pass because boarding pass speaks about a space or an issue that as Ugandans, we rarely speak about. We experience it, we talk about it in private, but there has been no platform to speak about it. And what is that thing? That thing is the mind and the thought process of a Ugandan or any other person that has lived outside of our community that then comes back and is trying to be a part of us. Yeah? What are their experiences? What do they think? How do they feel? What do we think about them? What do they prefer? What do they teach us? What do they not teach us? So we chose Boarding Pass to be a platform to discuss those issues and those thought processes and our responses and our reactions, and above all else, to allow Ugandans to express themselves. Ugandans are not very expressive people. We don't clap a lot, we don't shout a lot. You know? So, why we wanted to step into this space is to allow Ugandans to express themselves, to be free to say something, and to know that how you feel and what you think is valid.
It's beautiful. If you may give the microphone to Phoebe, I need to find out. Okay, then we have the platform. How do you structure the platform to be efficient? Like, where is the innovativeness in what you do that shows we did this so that we are different, so that we're effective?
It's interesting that you ask that because as we're doing the first season, I noticed that the topics were getting narrower and they were getting more personal and not broader. So let me first touch on something. So basically, Boarding Pass, the podcast itself, is meant to teach people who have moved back from other countries but that call Uganda home in navigating those challenges. I'm originally from LA, like born and bred in Uganda, went to high school here, but lived about 19 years in Los Angeles, right? So for me, that has always been home, right? So then you get back here, which is home, because your mom is here, your dad is here, your cousins are here, but you're like a foreigner in your own home. And it's such a silent struggle because if you do not understand how to say something, or if there are certain mannerisms that someone else does not get, they're gonna be like, who does she think she is? Like, why is she acting white? I'm actually not acting white. I just don't understand the things I'm asking. I need a clue. So I found that as we were navigating those issues, we had to figure out how do we include the Ugandan that's never left, right? And they have to be a part of that conversation because when you move back, that's who you live amongst, right? Your friends, your neighbors, those are the people you're gonna seek advice from. So to stay relevant, we've tried to broaden our episodes, like the topics that we talk about, whether it's housing issues, perceptions of low-income earners, even amongst us. We had one guest when we were talking about housing that we're trying to invite on, and she said something that was so shocking to me. She said she does not think that there are people in Uganda that go to bed hungry. it was so shocking. I'm like, wait, like you're Ugandan, you're born and bred here, you live here. Do you go through the slums I go through? How can you think someone does? So she was like, oh, at least someone has a relative or someone has a family member. So we wanted this podcast to have topics that not only enlighten our struggles towards your family members that you left here or your countrymen, but for them to also understand how the foreignness of when you get back, how silent of a struggle that can be to call two places home and feel like a foreigner in your own home. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No. Well, it does. It does.
The lights are very intimidating. So.
Now we need these lights. Anyway, now I want to ask. So you get down and you're doing this. When did it start?
It started in 2019, and then
Nice.
COVID came, so we started recording the first season 2020, right? Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
Now, and on your journey to create to do this boarding pass podcast, any hindrances, some things that have been holding you back? What is hard in your trade?
What has been hard is trying to find, because some of the issues that we do talk about are mental issues, this depression, anxiety, loneliness, meeting people that don't understand you. So Lizzie on the podcast is the balancing voice, so she's the only one who's born and bred in Uganda, original Machiga as they come, and shout out to Machigas in the crowd. And the three other girls, including I, are either from DC, LA, San Francisco. So we found that we needed to have her on the show to be the balancing voice. So when we're talking about issues that affect the local person, as we talk about issues that affect us who are coming from that side, we exchange minds and see where are the similarities. How do we help each other? Where is the discrepancy? What's lacking? Yeah.
Okay, then it starts 2019. You guys move into season 1, 2020, still doing the same gigs. Now 2021. The money question. Was this put together so that we can make money?
The money question. So, this was a passion project. You see, the four of us sat down and we're thinking, as women, we have so many interesting conversations. Like, I wish I could record for you the things we talk about. It's amazing, even in private spaces. So initially, we were thinking platform, ideas, discussions, topics, passion. But the more you engage in a passion project, the more you want something out of it. So we collaborated with KFM, which Monitor Publications, which is the one that broadcasts our content. And the purpose for that was we could then get advertisers and people we can talk about in the podcast who can then have a financial benefit to us. But like all creators and creatives, it's always passion first. And then when you reach somewhere in the middle, you're like, listen, something has to happen, because you just can't. You're moving every day, you're talking for hours, So yes, it was passion. Then we had to make it make sense.
When you reached, thank you for that. When you reached the part of something has to happen, even your voice changed. Money had to be made. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's first hear it again for the ladies from Boarding Pass. It's awesome.
Oh, and guys, the podcast is on Spotify. It's on Google Podcast. It's on 93.3 KFM. And
when? On 93.3 KFM when?
Yeah, online.
Online. On their online.
Yeah,
okay.
Online thing.
Yeah.
And Spotify, Google, in Anchor.
Yeah,
and
please.
Instagram.
And Instagram. Yeah, so you can follow them up on Instagram so that you can find a way to catch up with any other spaces they might be on or anything they might be up to do. Now, before we even go further in the conversation, any questions for Phoebe and Liz? Any questions? And I wanted to ask you, because lately I'm seeing the way podcasts are being structured in Uganda, they're going video as well. Do you have the idea to to go that journey?
Yeah, we're working on that actually, because it's so interesting what she was talking about, what happens behind the scenes. It's a lot of interesting conversations. We talk about singers, dating in Uganda is difficult. Yo,
It's crazy, man.
may God bless you. I don't know how you all have been doing it. So we talk about all those things. So we're trying to do a YouTube video to catch the craziness that happens before the recording.
I think that would be awesome, and I think it will also guide the conversation of other ways to monetize, because there's a way people work more with the eyes. Yeah. So I think it's going to broaden. But now, fine, okay, that could be one of them. But where do you see this going, and maybe how further do you want to innovate around Boarding Pass podcast?
Honestly, my personal vision for this is to be one of the best leading African podcasts.
Big hand clap for that. That's a big
Yes.
dream right there. That's a big dream, huh?
And who knows, maybe it turns into something bigger. Like, I think one of the gentlemen that was speaking who makes movies, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
It's
but
called Lukman.
But you're very handsome.
Yeah, that's
He was talking about just how it's important to start doing content and not think so much about the coins, because the coins do come later. Yeah.
And it's funny how you guys start the podcast in 2020. Were you affected by COVID? Did your hustle get affected?
I mean, at some point we could not move, and there were so many army people in the streets. I'm terrified of guns, especially AK-47s. So I didn't leave the house that entire time. Yeah, so we couldn't record because, I mean, you literally couldn't. So we pushed it until the tide kind of slowed down. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys have a product on your hands. It's beautiful and it's unique, because I don't think, even when you stop, I don't see anyone doing this. You see, I like finding a project and I think this is not going to happen again. A big hand clap to Boarding Pass. I mean, we don't think about what people go through when they move from one place to another and how it affects them. So you've created a product. You know, if you can find a way to create a product out of what we already have in our legends and we turn it into art that can be performed, tell stories, tell things about us. Wow, it's been beautiful. Thank you very much, the people from Boarding Pass, Liz and Phoebe. Thank you very much for joining us.